This is the Zeblaze Thor Dual, and I have been using it for about 3 weeks now. I'm going to tell you everything about it. Let's go. The Zeblaze Thor Dual is one of 3 different varieties of the Zeblaze Thor. This is the dual version, which basically means it has 2 cameras, hence dual. There is also the Zeblaze Thor Pro and the Zeblaze The Zeblaze Thor Plus. God, we got there in the end. We're going to focus on the Thor Dual because that's obviously the one that I have, but to be honest, there's not much difference between all of them, and I will let you know those differences at the end of this video. So the Zeblaze Thor Dual has an AMOLED screen, 1.4 inches. It has a full Android operating system, literally like a phone. In fact, the watch is basically designed to replace your phone in many ways, or basically be as good and as useful as one. You can put a nano SD card in here for 4G connection, so you can use it anywhere in the world like you would a normal phone. You can make calls, you can text, you can use apps like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Basically anything that you can do on an Android phone, you can do on this watch. It's powered by a quad-core 1.2 GHz processor with 1 GB of RAM. Now, the reason this is the dual version, like I said, it has 2 cameras, one at the side here and another at the front. Now, it's pretty rare for a smartwatch to have 1 camera, let alone 2. Whether it's really worth it, I will let you know. But we're going to go through the rest of the specs. We're going to have a look at the design and what it can do first. Thor Dual has a heart rate monitor, full fitness tracking, can track lots of predetermined sports, for example, basketball, indoor runs, treadmills, marathons. What else is there? Football, soccer, even ping pong. Why you need to track ping pong, I have no idea. Now, that's quite a lot of features for a smartwatch, and for all of this, it only costs $150, which I think is one of the cheapest smartwatches that has all of these Android features, as well as a microphone, as well as GPS, the heart rate monitor, and yeah, I think that's a pretty good deal. However, in practical terms, how good is the watch? Let's discuss. Okay, first things first. The watch is thick. Like, really thick. My wrists are, similar to what you'd see on an 8-year-old girl. And yeah, this is uncomfortable for me to wear on a daily basis, I'm afraid. But yeah, I feel like this is more of a problem for me and for people with smaller wrists. For men with larger wrists, it may not be as much of an issue because you may be used to wearing thicker watches. I definitely cannot sleep with it, which kind of removes the point of having a sleep tracker in the watch. That is my #1 issue with this device. I've also found that the cameras, which is kind of the main distinguishing feature of the watch, are pointless. I mean, they're both 5 megapixel cameras, which is impressive to have in a smartwatch. However, you just can't use them. I mean, this one at the side here, what is the point of just, you just can't film anything. You can't take a photo. What am I going to do? Do this? Like, oh, smile everyone, smile, yeah. I mean, the one at the front is better because you can actually video call with it. If you use Skype or Facebook Messenger, you can use this camera to make any kind of video calls you would otherwise, even on FaceTime and that stuff like that. You have to be quite far away for your face to not fill the entire screen, to not just have like a moon face. So again, not particularly practical, slightly better than the side camera, but you're not going to be using it. You're just not going to use it. So I don't see the point. You could have just removed the cameras and made it a little bit cheaper, or maybe a little bit thinner. I will say that the amount of stuff on the watch and what the watch can do is really impressive. I mean, it's just like a phone. It does think it's a phone in many ways. The menus have been optimized for a round screen, for a smartwatch screen, but a lot of the other things have not. For example, YouTube, the YouTube app has not been optimized. I mean, you can pretty much literally do anything that you can on a phone. And I mean, you could watch porn on this if you really wanted to. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. I mean, I've watched a few YouTube videos on here, and it's all been good. It works fine. The screen is very bright and colorful. It's just as good as most smartphone screens. It's got a resolution of 400 by 400, which is very sharp for such a tiny little screen. And the other really impressive thing about this watch is the heart rate sensor. It is the best heart rate sensor I've used in any smartwatch. It does actually continuously track your heart rate, not every 10 seconds, not every 20 seconds. It's just constantly changing. And I guess my other main gripe with this watch is the battery life, which is quite poor, to be honest. You will struggle to get more than a day and a half out of the watch. And it's going to be even worse if you use the GPS, if you watch any videos, or if you connect via 4G or Bluetooth. It's going to be a very short battery life. So yeah, you'll probably get about a day out of it. And talking of connections, again, the 4G element of this watch, which is again one of its main selling points. There are a few 4G smartwatches coming out which are kind of designed to untether you from your phone, meaning you could go out and not need your phone because you would receive all your calls and text messages straight to your watch. It works. I mean, it works just as well as your phone. It's a 4G connector. I've received texts and calls, replied to it from the smartwatch. So technically, this could replace your phone. It does all the things a phone can do, but doesn't do any of them as well, and it would be annoying to just rely on this watch. You would really miss your phone after a few days. However, it can also be used as a companion. You don't have to use it on its own. You can connect the Zeblaze to your phone via Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. You have to download an app to do that and set it up. I mean, it's slightly more complicated than it needs to be, but you can do it. And then you can have your phone just kind of send the messages to your watch, and then you can reply straight away, but you'll always have your phone on you if you need it. The GPS on this thing is also pretty accurate for a smartwatch. I have other smartwatches from Amazfit that are roughly the same price, really, and the GPS barely ever works, or when it does, it's quite inaccurate. And I've found the opposite to be true of this watch. It is pinpoint accurate, just as good as your phone. The design of the watch, apart from the thickness, is also fairly decent. I mean, it looks quite modern, and again, with a bright screen, and you can change to many different watch faces, it can look quite modern and quite sleek. It's just, its size really lets it down for me. I just can't deal with it, so I'm not going to be wearing this watch on a daily basis. I really wish I could, because it is really useful, because you just have full access to the Android operating system, the Android Play Store. There are lots of different apps out there designed specifically for smartwatches, which are quite useful, especially for fitness, for tracking. But that's just my experience. Again, guys, I have very thin wrists, so abnormally so. So I think that's just an issue for me. I think in general, you should be fine, but just be aware of it if you know you don't get on with larger watches. So the Zeblaze Thor Dual, I mean, it's not going to replace my phone. It's probably not going to replace your phone. In fact, it's not going to even replace my smartwatch, but it could replace your smartwatch if you don't mind the thickness and if you don't mind charging it every day. Those are the two main issues I have with this watch. Otherwise, it's really good value. Again, it's $150 and it can do all these things. It's got the best heart rate monitor I've ever used. The Zeblaze Thor Dual, I was going to tell you the difference between this watch and the Thor Pro. Now the Pro has a different body. It uses zinc for the material, so it's a higher quality material, and it only has one camera at the side, again pointless, but it also uses a different screen, an LTPS crystal display. I mean, I don't think the difference is that great, to be honest, and it's basically the same price. I guess you just get one less camera and slightly better materials, so it depends what your priority is. Yeah, that's the only difference between those two. And then there's a Zeblaze Thor Plus, which is another version of this watch. It uses a Super AMOLED screen. Apart from that, it's basically the same. Again, I'm not sure why they made 3 different versions that are basically identical. So there you go, guys. That is the Zeblaze Thor Dual. It's a great watch for the price. So many features, just not comfortable enough for me to wear, which is the point of a watch. I have also been sent recently the Cospit Hope 4G, which is here. I haven't even unwrapped it yet, but this is another 4G smart watch that's designed to replace your phone. I don't know how thick it is, if it's going to be more comfortable to wear or if the battery life is better. So yeah, I'll be looking at that watch next, so stay tuned if you're interested in that. Subscribe because that's what's coming up. But yeah, until then, I hope this has been useful. This is the Zeblaze Thor Dual. Yes. So yeah, see you around. Bye.